Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, so today the opening first questions are, what should the twins be setting their sights on? What is the focus to be here? So let's get some cards, see what we can find as to what the divine would like the twins to be focused on for the future regarding the connection at this time. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest and most beneficial information coming through. What is it we can see regarding what the twins would be most benefited to focus on at this time for the future of the connection? Oh, okay. A bunch. One thing fell on the floor, and that is the Queen of Swords. So appropriate communication, I just heard. We also have the Hanged Man. So communication needs to be the focus here, and going to the divine higher guidance. There is clearly a feminine giving a masculine some water here, so the divine masculine's opening up to allowing communication from the divine feminine. Divine feminines, I can't help but say, becoming trustworthy so that you're not going to bite your divine masculine's head off if they come back around and want to talk to you. So this is, you know, it can be simply a lack of communication, but it can be inappropriate. Bitchy energy for sure. Nourishing, not kind. So there's something here. I don't want to go too hardcore into that, because I know for many divine feminines, you would never wield your tongue that way, you know, and be cutting. If there are things that are unacceptable, conduct, things that have happened that your divine masculine literally has hurt you, has acted out, has been inappropriate, and you would like to share your mind on that, look at it in a way that's constructive. So there's a preparation here. Whenever I see the Hanged Man, I always think of, you know, in this case, there's a T for truth. There is a higher truth. Many cards show a Y, a letter Y in the card, and that always impresses on me, why do we want to do something? What is the motivation? So I think what we're getting here is spirit guidance suggesting that we need to understand why we are motivated towards these connections. What is worth fighting for? I'm hearing picking our battles, doing the process, doing the work to come into new perspectives. Oftentimes when we have space in these connections, it gives us a chance to calibrate, to work through the triggers in our own way, so that we change our perspective, so that we either set healthy boundaries or work on the healing needed so that something is not triggering to begin with. But let's get an energetic card for the divine feminines. What is it that this guidance can further support in the connection? Peace, healing, gentleness, and non-judgment. So yeah, divine feminines are kind of being called to the front here. Anywhere that you have been judgmental of your masculine, where you've forgotten to give them the freedom to be them, do them, navigate their karma, not just conform to your preferences. It's a really interesting thing on this journey to have the divine highlight an individual as your divine counterpart, and then have a seemingly betrayal of trust or character or preference come in on the journey, and then have to manage that in our own energy. Karmic situations, we often get the opportunity with karmic partners to rehash things until we're blue in the face. With these divine interactions, it's like the hand of the divine comes in and pulls the twins apart before any kind of karmic back and forth happens. We're put in our own corners, like the universe just comes in and repels us and puts us off, distracts us, drops the communication off, something. It's more like we're put in timeouts when there's a chance to be karmic together. And so then we come into the mastery. It's kind of interesting if you really feel into the patterns in these twin dynamics. We don't often get the luxury of working it out with our twin. It's ironic that we're always somehow put into our own corner to figure it out for ourselves. And actually, in a private reading the other day, it came through beautifully that in these twin connections, what we do for self, we do for twin, and we can find peace, healing, closure within our own soul, within our own internal process. Whereas with a karmic situation, we need incessantly at times to have that other person prove the love or clear up the misunderstanding, etc. In these twin connections, we are truly meant to go to the divine for that closure, for that calibration, and not the person. It's so beautiful when you get in stride with that. So divine feminines, have peace, trust the healing, trust the process. Really look at the necessity or not of hashing out anything with your divine masculine, and really finding the closure between you and the divine, because these are the motions that allow for mastery. I often get comments, why is it the divine feminines have to carry the brunt of all of this? The divine feminine aspect is very intuitive and leaps before their structure. Structure is the analytical masculine attribute. So the divine feminine will throw caution to the wind and not think about the implications of things and be passionately, emotionally driven to certain things. It's kind of good for the divine feminines to not be allowed to recklessly throw themselves into something, and to have to learn more of the structured ways. The divine masculines alternatively are very used to over planning, meticulously controlling things, structuring things, and they're working on becoming more intuitive and dropping the caution a little bit more, becoming more spontaneous, more free, more trusting, more fluid. Let's get a card for the divine masculines regarding this shift of perspective about communication. So we're getting star body matrix, multidimensional consciousness and holographic information, and mastery, accountability, and acceptance. So whatever your reality is bringing to you, divine masculine, if you don't accept the truth of what is presenting, in this sense, it's your divine counterpart, the opportunity for this profound, divinely guided relationship. If you do not accept that blessed opportunity, if you reject, if you go quiet, if you resist it, if you don't accept it, you will get this karmic backlash. You also have to process what's showing up for you in your reality. There is a reason you have magnetized your divine feminine into your life, and it's part of your journey of mastery. Literally, the twin flame dynamic is designed to challenge you and bring you into accountability and mastery. And in many instances, divine masculines, it is the acceptance of what is showing up in your reality outside of yourself that is a blessing, and trusting that is this massive revelation that something coming in that challenges you to grow is actually beneficial for you and not a trick. That it's a blessing that you've asked for, that you've manifested, and accepting that, seeing how that takes you to the next level through true communication, compatibility, teamwork, instead of going it alone and isolating yourself and having to be ambitious as an alpha. Divine masculines, this is, whether you've only been headstrong and achieving, or have been lowly and underachieving, or not wanted to go for that. whichever flip of the coin you're on, Divine Masculine, this is about the middle path. This is about you coming into unity consciousness and having been given the perfect divine counterpart. And so the shift of perspective is that it's a blessing, not a curse, to be given this relationship. Amazing. So we also got the Knight of Pentacles and the World. Both twins are finishing out cycles. This is the ascension. This is a massive energy. In the reverse, this means that the cycles are still wrapping up to the degree that this new foundation in the ascended awareness, the new perspective, can come in and start laying a new groundwork, a new foundation. So we're just going to pull, let's see, clarifiers for what is the feminine still wrapping up. Anxiety, damsel in distress energy. So divine feminines, put down any of that desire to be saved by your knight in shining armor and save yourselves. I'm hearing save ourselves. Just keep doing it. It might feel lonely. Stop telling yourself that's a bad thing and tap into your empowerment through that. You don't need anyone else, divine feminines. Put down the woe is me and just embrace how far you've come. You would not be magnetizing some of the challenges you're facing into your life if you were not capable. You are not given more than you can handle. Now show yourself what you're made of, divine feminines. That's what I'm getting there. And for divine masculines, what are the cycles that are being wrapped up? Are you kidding? Look at that. We got the Hanged Man with the letter Y in the ropes, just as I was saying with this T of truth. Find your self-loving internal motivation, divine masculines, allowing love, allowing true love, not the masks, not the social graces, not the external expectations. Allow your own heartfelt reasons. I'm hearing support. Your divine feminine is your I'm hearing team player, biggest fan, like the one made for you, divine masculine. Your divine feminine is the one that sees you to the core, and that the divine is asking you to wrap up cycles of resisting having someone so much on your team. You know, that's unnerving. It's unnerving, especially when you don't really know your divine counterpart yet. It seems unjustified. It seems unbelievable that this person could know you that deeply. But as you love yourself, I'm seeing that you're being shown that you're ready to be loved that unconditionally. I'm going to say it again. It came through in another reading for you, divine masculine, that it was love at first sight. Your divine feminine loved you at first sight for who you are because they knew your soul. And you have resisted that and disbelieved it and second guessed it and thought it couldn't possibly be true. But just for a moment, divine masculine, feel into your heart of hearts. When you love yourself, whose energy do you feel in that space? When you totally drop the self-judgment, self-condemnation, and you sink into just adoring who you are, divine masculine, who do you feel in there with you in that space? Bingo, divine feminine. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this one as the new foundation coming in when the masculines get this receptivity and self-love, the self-love synonymous with divine feminine, and divine feminines, the empowerment that you are not a damsel in distress. Okay, really good stuff, twins. Let's get into the reading. I'm being drawn today to look at the divine feminine and the divine masculine. What are each wishing or thinking of the connection, feeling on the heart space, wishing and doing, all of those things. And we're going to do it from the divine masculine and the divine feminine sides. Oh, I do want to say that I have opened up more sessions into September now, so if you've been waiting for an announcement, I do have some spaces, and I'm going to add more along when I know my schedule a little bit more clearly. So do check back every few days, maybe in another week if you don't see something that works. Okay, Divine Masculines. Thank you, Divine Creator, for showing us what the Divine Masculines are thinking, feeling, wishing for the connection, and the Divine Feminines. I'm going to get a union space for each of these stages. Sorry, this is quite a spiel between, but I have 5 decks to shuffle and we're done. Okay, so, okay, ladies first. Oh, take it out, it resonates for gender, but Divine Feminines, we're going to do you first here. So, how are you thinking about this connection consciously? Chariot and the World in reverse again. We just had this in the opening. This is the cycle coming in to move things forward. Divine Feminine, you're chomping at the bit, you're raring to go, you're ready for this, but this cycle of feeling like you need your masculine to complete you, to define you, to get you where you're going, that life that you envision having, only being able to come in once your masculine's there, any of those things still needing to clear out. There is a fine line between the excitement and the exponential potential and feeling like you're less than in any subtle way because your masculine isn't fully there yet. So just keep it. You know, we are infinite and all themes are also infinite, except love trumps them all. So if you're not at peace on the deepest levels, if you're still in a desire, in a wanting the connection to come in. It's not the same as closing the door and rejecting it. It's just, if you don't have full peace that your masculine isn't in your life right now, there are still minute areas to release within you, within your expectations. It's frustrating to hear that time and time again, but there is something to it. Okay, Divine Masculines, consciously. Justice in the reverse. Wow, we have the 3D and the 5D balancing scales here. This equal give and take, this is the breadcrumbing energy, but the imbalance, the lack of reciprocity. Divine Masculines from the opening energy fully know that they are rejecting of this connection. They haven't accepted it because they haven't loved themselves enough to feel like your love, Divine Feminine, is warranted. So Divine Masculines, believe it, you are lovable. And that is the thing that they have been resisting. They have not felt lovable, and therefore justice has not come in. This is coming in, though. This is en route. Justice in the reverse and the World in the reverse. For both, it's the becoming. So Divine Masculines know that justice hasn't come here because there hasn't been reciprocity, and all it would take would be accepting that. I'm hearing the Divine Masculine Collective saying it's a good theory to accept it, but actually allowing it is a whole other animal ball game. That's where they're at. They're seeing how it's easier said than done right now, and the deep, deep levels of imprinting that keeps the instinctual knee-jerk reaction and Divine Feminine at bay. Okay, what are the Divine Feminines experiencing on the heart space for the masculine? Eight of, oh, the Queen of Swords for the second time. 8 of Water. This is leaving, going in the reverse. It's coming back around. It does sometimes reference, this card references sometimes leaving third-party situations. So Divine Feminines, we did see a lot of soulmates and casual sexual partners and dating and different options coming in. So for some, I'm getting that you've kind of worked through that and you're no longer dating or sleeping with somebody that wasn't your Divine Masculine. So for some, you've released a temporary or karmic partner that way. This is also trusting that your Divine Masculine is working through their other relationships, and you're anticipating, feeling that there may have been a change in your Divine Masculine's relationship status, is what I'm hearing. It's a really tricky thing on the heart space for Divine Feminines to know that other people have been chosen when clearly there is a profound knowing of this connection. The Queen of Swords in the reverse is a very sharp pain. It's a very cutting energy. It's a very like visceral feeling. This is the stabbing pains in the heart, you know, when there has been longing and heartache and yeah, that whole motion. So Divine Feminines, this reality seems to be evident, but it looks like you're right on the cusp of forgiving your masculine, forgiving yourself. I have had a prayer coming up since Lionsgate, and I think I've said it in one reading, but I'll say it again. I forgive myself for not forgiving you, and in that, I forgive you too. So Divine Feminines, release the choices your Divine Masculine has made. Be aware that if you have experienced other options or desired other options, that it's taught you can't find your masculine anywhere else. And they are learning that too. Trust that. Trust that what comes around goes around in all aspects. The Eight of Cups in the reverse is very much that what comes around goes around energy. And with these profound twin connections, they do keep coming around and around, proving that magnetism between twins. Over time, it dismisses disbelief. Like, you can no longer not believe in the connection because of the sheer numbers of cycles that repeat in this thing. It becomes absolutely futile to deny the connection or the longevity of the connection or the permanence of this person in your life when it comes around and around and around. So both twins watching, really consider that. And stop being so silly that it's over or never going to happen again. With these connections, they're unconditional love because they yo-yo out into space and they still come back in. You just cannot deny this person in your reality and how important they are. Okay, Divine Masculines on the heart space. Six of Cups. Okay, another six in the reverse as well. Four of Coins in the reverse. This is about opening the heart space to the reunion. There is still this budding cusp again, this knowledge of the resisting. There's a lot of like cracking open, putting down the resistance, edgy kind of energy here for the Divine Masculines. It's like precipice. It's on the verge kind of energy of opening the heart to this reunion and believing that it could actually be navigated without screwing it up again, I'm hearing. Clinging to the way things were or clinging to the status quo is being put behind here. Masculines are saying they are getting ready to risk letting go of what has been in order to come towards a reconnection with a more open mind and a more open heart. Specifically, this is on the heart space. They're opening their heart to revisit this Divine Feminine, and there's that mirroring there with the coming back around. So if you, Divine Feminine, have energetically said, well, wait a second, I am going to forgive my masculine, they can feel that because there's that reciprocal energy. I want to say again, I'm getting that nudge that these connections don't play out in the 3D. They do all of this calibration and negotiation in the energetic realms. That's what the soul aspect does. So if you are truly experiencing this energetic exchange, until that's balanced out, it won't ground in the physical. This is a blessed paradox because with the twin dynamics, it happens on the energetic realms pristinely before it comes into the physical. Whereas karmic, instant gratification, or, you know, those kinds of fast and furious kind of relationships, we slam together. It's too easy to get entrenched in a karmic scenario. It's like a lot of us are saying, why is this twin dynamic so frustratingly, painstakingly slow? It's because it's not karmic, everybody. And the reason we know that is because all of the negotiations, the relationship is being balanced out in the energetic levels before and only before it comes into the physical. opposite. That's the opposite of a karmic relationship. So divine masculines are opening the floodgates, I just heard, to allow this soul connection to come in. This is also inner child healing. So there's a new, another level of the onion on the heart space being shed by the divine masculines right now. And they do feel your energy in that heart space as they do that. They recognize, like the Knight of Cups in the opening message, they recognize that influence of self-love, healing, and more clarity about you, or more presence about you. Or divine masculines, if you've been thinking about your divine feminines often, but not connecting the dots between your own heart opening and healing, take a moment and see it that way. See your growth and then those random thoughts of your divine feminine that's popping up. I know that's been a bit of a theme where the divine masculines are having curiosities about their divine feminine. I wonder what they're up to, wonder what they're doing right now. Casual thoughts, but if you take a moment, you'll see that it goes hand in hand with something, a breakthrough that you've had, divine masculine. See, the intuition in the divine masculine attribute is the divine feminine quality. And so it's counterintuitive to intuitively connect the compartmentalized thoughts, the seemingly random thoughts of divine feminine. It's harder to connect that, or not as go-to kind of strategy to connect those random thoughts of the feminine with the random thoughts of progress and healing in the divine masculine's own right. That's the forte of the divine feminine energy, that harmonizes all of that and sees the emotional connection alongside the awarenesses, the holistic kind of vision. It's a little bit of the opposite, but I do see that in the heart space here. They're kind of more present hand-in-hand motion. Wow, interesting stuff. So what are the divine feminines wishing for at this time? The new beginning and the destined path, the leap of faith. The Fool is in the reverse here. So the divine feminines are wishing for this to just jump to the occasion, I'm hearing. Like this hope. I would say it's working on mindset and that putting down of the last final give a care about timing, about the manifestations, and just going kind of on autopilot while empowering on the divine feminine path. The divine feminines are just sort of still putting down the need for speed, the need to have this thing manifest, and just more trusting the destined path. So wishing to surrender that need for surety, or need to know how it's going to turn out, or need to know what to expect next. Divine feminines are trusting in the destined path. You're dipping your toes in, thinking in terms of surrendering the need to know anything about this journey, divine feminines, and just trusting that those intuitively guided leaps that you're making in your own right are what's perfectly aligned for your journey. Wow, that's really great. And divine masculines, what are you wishing for? Progress and to end opposition. Lots of swords here. 10 of swords, 6 of swords. This is the hope. This is travel too. So for some divine masculines, there is a deep wish to travel, to meet up. This could be across water. There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of physical barriers, COVID, travel restrictions, looking for some sort of promise for the future, and putting down this oppressive, like, victim mentality of circumstances and external pressure and all of that. Divine masculines are wishing to just be free from all of that and have things streamline and flow, come out of the choppy waters, come out of the feeling of left for dead, and that this thing is over. Divine masculines are wishing to see something that renews their belief in this. Actually, just going to pull a clarifier because it feels like there's a more deliberate wish here. Two of Swords there and Two of Wands. So they kind of know it's up to them to, it's that opening energy. Two of Wands is stepping out of comfort zone. Two of Swords in the reverse is choosing love over fear. So divine masculines, I'm just seeing boat imagery with this Six of Swords. It's usually a watery travel. And so there does seem to be like toggles grabbing the rudder of the boat towards love versus fear, out of comfort zone versus familiarity, and going in the right direction, putting this overthinking to rest and realizing like enough is enough with the over analytics, that degree, and just, this is the letting go of control, divine masculines here. So yeah, it was long-winded to say that the divine masculines are starting to see the value in loosening up a little. Okay, so what is the divine feminine action at this time? Oh, the Sun and the Wheel of Fortune. That took my breath away. Divine feminines, this is like literally the no cares. This is full enlightenment, full trust in the divine. You're giving the divine the reins of your life, of all of the accountability that you've brought to the table. You've done your best. You've done your share here, and you know it. Your conscience is clear. And now it's in the hands of the divine. May the sun shine on all of our connections, kind of blessing and letting go, surrender with your whole being. This is phenomenal, divine feminines. Wow. What are the divine masculines actions at this time? Oh, this is the card of separation. The Five of Coins is being left out in the cold, self-imposed separation, and Child of the Great Transformers, the Death card. So divine masculines are surrendering. Here's that edge again, the precipice of letting go of control. Seeing what that means, understanding what it means to let go of control. Divine masculines are, I'm hearing, brutally aware that they have been the ones that have been holding this unfolding back. And so there is this readiness, emerging readiness. Again, this combination of cards is showing that emerging readiness to allow the transformation to come in without resisting it. That feels like it's over the hump. It's over the hardest part. It's over the biggest resistance here. And now it's, oh, I just heard falling into love. You know, falling demands no effort at all. Letting go demands no effort at all. It's a non-effort. So just, it is an allowing. I'm getting that from every combo for the divine masculines, is that they have egoed themselves into carrying the weight of the world, and they're letting go of the weight of the world. Okay, divine feminine's biggest challenge, Ace of Air and Justice. Knowing the truth on these connections, bringing justice in, knowing how to bring justice in. Feminines, just keep going with this, giving it to the divine, because, you know, this is not for you to know. We are vast, incredible spiritual creatures, and yet trusting the mystery and just going with it is the message I'm getting there, is just continue to not need to understand why things haven't been fair or haven't played out the way, and be grateful. Appreciation for what is still the biggest challenge for the feminines. I'm going to pull the solution for that. Three of Earth and Eight of Earth, Eight of Pentacles. So this is the teamwork card in the reverse and the inner work card, or the specialization, putting work into something, in the reverse. These are both internalized. So divine feminine, you're still being asked to work on yourself, work on your team player attitude. That means not holding a record of wrongs in your connections. Again, if you've followed me all the way through this, or any of my videos this far, you're likely not in a narcissistic abusive relationship, because these are very spiritual energies we're talking about. You're not crazy. If you're still with me, I don't think I need to do that disclaimer about not putting up with abuse, but this is really taking the accountability to be a perfected partner. This is excellence. This is profound wholeness and making sure that you know what you're bringing to the table. Forgetting about what your masculine is bringing to the table yet. From this energy, it's like, remember, you're not in full union right now. So it's about bringing this excellence into your own walk and just focusing on becoming the best version of you that you can be, and not worrying so much about how that's going to align with your masculine, because you're only qualified to know those kinds of things when you know yourself this well. Gorgeous. So for the divine masculines, what is the, oh, are you kidding? That is incredible. I just have to hold these up together. Both of you, both of us, get the Ace of Swords, Ace of Air and Ace of Swords here. So absolute mirroring in the challenge. So truth, Ace of Swords is truth. And seeing the root of things. This is the Lord of the root of powers of air. And the devil in the reverse, that's the illusion being seen through, the karma being seen through, this resistance being seen through. And understanding that choice and confidence in choice is only had when you see the reasons why you're afraid to make certain choices and why you make certain other choices that keep resulting in backlash, karmic backlash. So divine masculines, I'm getting, before I pull the solution here, I'm getting distinctly that you're starting to see why things that theoretically have been justified and you've chosen them, why those have come back to bite you. This is a need for that discernment and intuition to come in so that you actually see the illusion of what you think you choose and why it doesn't work out, and then what has been counterintuitive and been resisted, and why that is actually sometimes the solution here. There's a very stubborn, egoic, I heard hate on for the kind of vulnerability and happiness and love that you could access with your divine feminine. There's been this desperate need to go it alone to prove oneself. This incredibly entrenching, it has to be up to me as a masculine. It has to be self-made to the 10th degree. That's what I'm getting here. And so there's a little bit of a challenge in seeing that headstrong, stubborn control to have to go it alone is the glass castle that's needing to be shattered, I'm hearing. So what is the advice? Oh, the star, Three of Pentacles. You can't make this up. The advice for the feminines was also the Three of Pentacles in the reverse. Whoa, I just have to hold it all up. How do I even do this? I just want you to see it. The challenge for each is that Ace of Swords, and the solution for each is becoming a team player with the Three of Pentacles there for each. You just can't make that up. The odds of that are staggering, twins. Staggering. Like, wow, mind-blowing to me. But yeah, divine masculines, if you want to get behind something, if you want hope in your life, if you want to see what's justifiable to hope in, to open to grow into, become a team player. Boom! Team player energy, unity consciousness, everyone. You have to be in unity consciousness for union to occur. This is stunning. Okay, what is the direction of the connections in the near future? Oh, Four of Wands and Page of Earth. So for divine feminines, we have the Union 1111 card and this kindness. It's both in the reverse. So there is more of a recognition, you know, when you become that team player, the Three of Coins for you, divine feminine is really giving that kindness that you would want for yourself to your masculine. You know, like really there are still total releasing and letting go of judgment and taking things personally, and it really is a profound level of mastery. Yeah, you can say, why do I have to? Why is it fair that they get to behave the way they do and I have to be brutally aware of it and put up with it and watch it play out? Because they aren't you. You have no control of them, and it's absolutely unconditional love to allow them to do them, and don't take it personally. It's because you're taking it personally, Divine Feminine, that it's being a problem for you. It has nothing to do with you, and it's actually coming from a place of deep confusion, pain, rebellion in your counterpart. That's where it's coming from, and that's why it demands compassion, true kindness from you, because somebody is not reckless or misguided or clumsy navigating life and making choices that aren't good for them if they already have it all dialed in and figured out. So have compassion that your clumsy Divine Masculine isn't getting some things right. Don't take it personally. So you're really understanding that foundation and what is appropriate for you to focus your energy on, Divine Feminine. And Divine Masculine's 10 of Cups and Princess of Swords, or sorry, 10 of Coins. So Divine Masculines are going to be checking you out on social media. Divine Feminines might be asking friends. They're really, Divine Masculines, you're really seeing the long-term abundance that's here. Once you get down off your high horse, stop being defensive, stop projecting that this is a entrapping kind of an energy. Once you really open your eyes to this, as you are doing from what I can see, Divine Masculines, it is suddenly evident at how much abundance and prosperity on every single level this connection offers. It is not something that takes from you or manipulates. It's exponential. Divine Masculines are starting to see that. Divine Feminines, you know, this space holding for your Divine Masculine to come through their ascension, just as you have for the majority come through the bulk of your ascension. Just, you know, keep witnessing that, keep focusing on you, Divine Feminine. As you do that, Divine Masculine has the space to focus on you as well and this connection and the benefit of it. That runner chaser electromagnetic push-pull is balancing out here. Beautiful. Okay, let's get one last energetic card in closing. What can we see? The heart is awake. So we're getting another baseline 0 point energy, love, innocence, and reverence. There is a reverence here. I'm hearing if the twins can just ease their weary minds and be present for a moment, there is such a deep recognition and reverence for these connections. So just resonate in that right now, twins. If you've watched this to the end, just give yourself that reality check that even though it can be crazy making at times, the reverence for how these connections have transformed our lives, Divine Feminines and Divine Masculines, no other person on the planet has done this to you. Has inspired you, has been this catalyst, has been this partner. And that is the closest partnership to the throne, because those are the essential, the vital, the most important. Okay, many blessings, twins. Bye for now.